Greetings to everyone.
First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Javela Roa, a third-year Bachelor of Science in Social Work student from SLSU, Maasin City Campus.
Our report is to tackle about the Republic Act number 8552. Republic Act number 8552, known as the Domestic Adoption Act of 1998. An act establishing the rules and policies on the domestic adoption of Filipino children and for other purposes. Adoption is a social-legal process of giving a permanent family to a child whose parents have voluntarily and involuntarily relinquished parental authority over the child. In the Philippines, there are two types of adoption recognized by the state, which are the agency adoption and family or relative adoption. Agency adoption is one where a licensed adoption agency finds and develops adoptive families for children who are voluntarily and involuntarily committed to the state. Family or relative adoption is one where the biological parents make direct placement of the child to a relative within the fourth degree of consanguinity. The rationale behind the law is found in the Declaration of Policies. It states that it is hereby declared the policy of the state to ensure that every child remains under the care and custody of his or her parents, and be provided with love, care, understanding, and security towards the full and harmonious development of his or her personality. Only when such efforts prove insufficient and no appropriate placement or adoption within the child's extended family is available shall adoption by an unrelated person be considered. And in all matters relating to the care, custody, and adoption of a child, his or her interest shall be the paramount consideration. Toward this end, the state shall provide alternative protection and assistance through foster care and adoption for every child who is neglected, orphaned, and abandoned. Definition of terms. Number 1. A child legally available for adoption refers to a child who has been voluntarily or involuntarily committed to the department or to a duly licensed and accredited child placing or child caring agency, freed of parental authority of his or her biological parents or guardian or adopters in case of rescission of adoption. Second is voluntarily committed child is one whose parents knowingly and willingly relinquishes parental authority to the department. Next is involuntarily committed child is one whose parents, known or unknown, has been permanently or judicially deprived of parental authority due to abandonment, substantial, continuous, or repeated neglect, abuse, or incompetence to discharge parental responsibilities. Fourth is abandoned child. Refers to one who has no proper parental care of guardianship or whose parents has deserted him or her for a period of at least 6 continuous months and has been judicially declared as such. Supervised trial custody is a period of time within which a social worker oversees the adjustment and emotional readiness of both adopters and adoptee in stabilizing their filial relationship. Next is child placing agency. Is a duly licensed accredited agency by the department to provide comprehensive child welfare services including, but not limited to, receiving application for adoption, evaluating the prospective adoptive parents, and preparing the adoption home study. Last is child caring agency. Is a duly licensed and accredited agency by the department that provides 24-hour residential care services for abandoned, orphaned, neglected, or voluntarily committed children. Who may adopt? The law provides that a Filipino citizen, an alien, and a guardian may adopt, provided that they satisfy the qualification and comply with the requirements. The following may adopt if adopter applicant is a Filipino citizen: Under the law, a Filipino citizen may adopt if she or he is a legal age at least 18 years old, in possession of full civil capacity and legal rights. He has a good moral character. He is emotionally and psychologically capable of caring for children. He has a position to support and care for his children in keeping with the means of the family. In other words, financially capable of taking care of the adopted child. At least 16 years older than the adoptee. Adopter applicant is an alien. Any alien possessing the same qualification as above stated for Filipino nationals provided that his or her country has diplomatic relation with the Republic of the Philippines, that he or she has been living in the Philippines for at least 3 continuous years prior to the filing of the application for adoption and maintain such residence until the adoption decree is entered, that he or she has been certified by his or her diplomatic or consular office or any appropriate government agency that he or she has the legal capacity to adopt in his or her country, and that his or her government allows that adoptee to enter his or her country as his or her adopted son or daughter. It is provided further that the requirements of residency and certification of the alien's qualification to adopt in his or her country may be waived for the following, which a former Filipino citizen who seeks to adopt a relative within the 4th degree of consanguinity or affinity, or one who seeks to adopt the legitimate son or daughter of his or her Filipino spouse, or one who is married to a Filipino citizen and seeks to adopt jointly with his or her spouse a relative within the 4th degree of consanguinity or affinity of the Filipino spouse. C. Adopter applicant is the guardian. Guardian with respect to the ward after determination of the guardianship and clearance of his or her financial accountabilities. Who may be adopted? Any person below 18 years of age who has been administratively or judicially declared available for adoption. The legitimate son or daughter of one spouse by the other spouse. An illegitimate son or daughter by a qualified adopter to improve his or her status of that legitimacy. A person of legal age if, prior to the adoption, said person has been consistently considered and treated by the adopters as his or her daughter or own child since minority. A child whose adoption has been previously rescinded, or a child whose biological and adoptive parents has died, provided that no proceeding shall be initiated within 6 months from the time of death of the said parents. What are the effects of adoption? 1. The parental authority shall be granted to the adopter. 2. The adoptee shall be considered the legitimate child of the adopter. She or he is entitled to all the rights and obligations provided by law to legitimate children. 3. The adopter and the adoptee shall have reciprocal rights of succession. The adoptee therefore can inherit from the adopter as if she is a legitimate child. He or she has the same share as that of a legitimate child. How does the law benefit society? An adopted children and the adoptive parents benefit the law, which includes the following. An adoptive parents are able to fulfill lifelong dreams of raising a child, help them to reach goals and provide them a learning opportunities, to experience the joy and the blessings of adding a child to a family, to build a new meaning relationship, to adapt a more regular schedule, to experience a new cultural traditions, to expose in engaging new activities and interests that could help you develop your personality, to be loved and cared, to enhance the social functioning and promote the well-being of the adopted child.